Sort of. The award-winning comedy series from CBC returns for its third and final season today. Since its debut in 2021, Sort of has made its way into the hearts of viewers from around the world. Here to talk to us more about the final season is actor Gray Powell, who plays Paul. All right, Paul. Gray/Paul. This show fascinates me. I haven't yet seen it, unfortunately, but I really, really want to. It is on my list. And for those of us who are not aware of the premise of the show, please give us a brief synopsis.
The show follows the character of Sabi Mehboob, who's a gender-expansive millennial South Asian who's living in Toronto and growing up, and they are figuring out life with family and employers and friends, and it follows them through some decisions that they're making. And it follows not only them, but then also we realize throughout the show how everyone they come into contact with is in transition in some way, and they're at ages and stages in their life. And yeah, so it's negotiating life, really.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very real.
Very real, very real.
Very real.
And what I loved about the writing is that it does not shy away from the complexities and nuances of every character, which is so refreshing, because that's not always the case in things. Yeah.
Tell me about your character, Paul.
Paul is a dad, what he thinks is a progressive kind of hip dad in a family in Toronto. He's a therapist.
I feel like there's a big but coming.
Well, yeah, there is. I think the but is that he thinks he's in a position in his life where he's negotiating his age, his stage, and he thinks everything is kind of copacetic until in the first season his wife or his partner has a pretty traumatic experience, and that kind of begins a spiral for him in terms of who he is, what his place is in his relationship with his family, his relationship as a man, as a cis man, and yeah, it's sort of, and his relationship with Sabi, they kind of really open Paul's eyes to just
A lot.
a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Final season. What's it going to offer viewers?
The final season, if you've been following, the final season is where we started off. There's some big decisions that each character will go through in the final season. And from Paul specifically, he reconnects. Well, there's always the attempt to reconnect with Bessie and figure out what his relationship is there. And also, he has to deal with a lot of his own personal struggles.
It feels like every character really has to dig deep within themselves to make these decisions for whatever transition they're going through.
Yeah, they do. They really have to look in. And I think with Paul's arc in the first season, there was a traumatic event that sort of, he really had to face things head on, and he really railed against it, and he pushed against it. The second season, there was a softness in terms of how he was responding to those things in his life. And in the third season, I think there's an acceptance and a pursuit of help, which you'll see.
Just from talking to you, I can tell that each character goes through its own bit of personal growth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Quickly, we only have about 30 seconds left, but I want to know, what do you think this series has impacted the LGBTQ+ community? How do you think it has impacted?
I can only speak from Bilal going into the second season. Bilal, who plays Sabi and created this show, they shared, anonymously, they shared some responses from people who had been watching the show. And those people felt seen, they connected with Bilal's character specifically. I know, and then Bilal and the producers have put in some trans youth mentorship programs in the show that allowed trans youth to come on the show and be visible on the in the crew aspect of the show. It's amazing. So,
well, thank you for coming in and sharing your story with us. And everybody needs to watch Sort of. Season 3 starts today.